Hello and welcome back to Market House. My name is Caleb and I am the host of this show that we pretty much cover all things Disney. And folks, I am particularly in a good mood this morning because we just finished kind of planning our next Disneyland trip. So we'll be escaping, monotonous daily life to go visit the parks here pretty soon. We're going to catch it just barely, catch the Christmas decorations there. And again, it's going to be after the actual day of Christmas. So you'll have to wait for our thoughts for a couple weeks, I think. But anyways, we'll have some, good stories and maybe some good Christmas time reviews for you when we get back. So we're super pumped about that. It's always good to get down to the parks. And this one's coming up pretty soon. So kind of a last minute decision, but those are always the best, right? And we're already talking Christmas, which is insane to me. And that means Thanksgiving, the forgotten holiday, the one that gets the least attention because it's the closest to Christmas, poor thing. But that's around the corner. So I don't know what you folks are doing for this time of year, but, it's a good time to, it's a good excuse to get together with family and friends and eat a ton of food. So it's always a good time of year. I like how it's cold outside. You can have the fire going and, again, eating some good food. So it's a good time of year. I'm in a great mood because of it. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and dive right into that news. All right, first up is some news for our Disney shareholders out there. It wasn't a great week. Wasn't a great week for those folks. The earnings call was less than stellar, and this is what blows my mind. The stock market will respond in such weird ways and for the littlest reasons. But it looks like revenue was down. It was down by a couple $100 million. Expected revenue was $18.79 billion for the company this last quarter. And it was only 18.5, a measly 18.5 billion. They should be ashamed and embarrassed for themselves and their families. I'm kidding, of course, but I guess if you miss expectations by a couple $100 million, they call you on that. So market did not respond well. The stock was down the next day quite a bit, and I think it's slowly recovering. Also, some kind of less than stellar news was the Disney Plus subscriber growth is slowing down. Now, again, it was impressive, the kind of growth that it's experienced the last couple of years. It is already over 115 million subscribers in just 2 years, which is absolutely insane. But it's starting to slow down. So, again, investors don't like seeing that kind of stuff. We're not going to dive too far into detail and give you an investing class. You can, LinkedIn Learning, YouTube, those are great resources for that. I won't act like I know everything about the stock market, but I know a little bit, enough to report on it. So, and then finally, this is good news. We'll end the earnings report on good news, and that is the parks are profitable again. So, it's in the grand scheme of things, and when we're talking about a large company, this number is going to make you laugh. But they turned a $22 million with an M, a $22 million profit from the parks. And yes, that sounds insanely small, and it is. You'd be correct in saying that. Yes, that is very small for Disney. But you have to remember, this same time last year, the earnings call for quarter 3 of 2020. They reported a nearly $2 billion loss. So they've recovered over $2 billion in profit or revenue, for this quarter. So they're recovering. Let's just say that much pretty quickly here, and that's good news because that means more investment in the parks. That means less maybe penny pinching. Again, this is wishful thinking, I think, but it's good that the parks are profitable again. And if you're not a Disney shareholder, whoop-de-doo, right? But if you own a few shares of the stock, then good for you. It looks like we're turning the corner here. So, enough finance talk. Let's get into some park news. Next up, we have It's a Small World. Is not only decorated for Christmas with the holiday overlay, which is absolutely beautiful. If you haven't seen it, either search a picture up on Instagram, YouTube, whatever you want, or go see it in person, which is the best, right? That's a good excuse to go to the parks. I have to see the holiday overlay on It's a Small World. So not only is it decorated, but there's some new water features inside that attraction. And by water features, I mean it's flooded. It's straight up flooded. So it looks like they drained the track, right? It's a kind of a river ride. They drained the attraction, and when they went to refill it the night before they were supposed to open back up, I mean, they weren't really closed, but when they decorate for Christmas, it's usually in one night, which is crazy. They do it in like 12 hours. So they decorate the park for Christmas, and then when they were refilling the tanks in the river there, I guess something happened and it flooded. And the flooding damaged some equipment, so they can't operate the ride right now. So it's beautiful on the outside, but kind of broken on the inside. So kind of cruddy news for people that wanted to ride that great attraction, that classic, here in the next few weeks. There's really no date for it to return because it was very unexpected. So I'm hoping they can get that fixed up so you folks can experience the magic of It's a Small World. Next, we have the Disney Plus Day announcement. So we talked last week about how Disney Plus Day was coming up, and that has happened. Again, it's more of Disney Plus Week with a week-long kind of celebration of the Disney Plus birthday, which is 2 years old now. And with the Disney Day, the celebration, it came with a ton of announcements related to, you guessed it, Disney Plus. So I'm going to highlight just a few because there was a million. So if you're interested in all of them, definitely visit kind of all the Disney's social media pages. They're all on there, but I've grabbed a few that are kind of exciting to me, and I think most folks, and we'll cover those. So first up, we have a new Marvel show called Moon Knight, starring Oscar Isaac. So you know Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron from the Star Wars franchise, and now he's coming back as a Marvel character called Moon Knight. I've never heard of Mr. Moon Knight, but it looks interesting. They released a teaser trailer. It's like 30 seconds long, and I like him. I like the actor himself. So I'm sure he's appreciative of Disney giving him jobs and jobs. So the guy's busy, to say the least, and he'll be part of the Marvel cinematic universe here in the next couple years. And next up, we've got the new Obi-Wan show on Disney Plus. This thing looks absolutely amazing. They announced it quite a while ago, and but they released a behind-the-scenes kind of teaser trailer for the show. So I think we all knew this already, but Ewan McGregor is returning to play Mr. Obi-Wan, and Hayden Christensen is coming back as Darth Vader. And that is really cool news because, especially, poor Hayden got a lot of hate back in the day when the prequels came out with his acting chops and stuff. And, you can have opinions on if he's not the greatest actor in the world or whatever. But that poor guy got, absolutely demolished on social media. And, it's kind of nasty. So the fact that he's coming back and that dude's got some thick skin is super cool. So I grew up on the prequels. I know hardcore Star Wars fans don't love those things, but hey, when you're a kid and you're growing up with young Anakin and, freaking dope lightsaber fights and stuff, it's pretty cool. So you got to admit, for us young and millennial folk, the prequels are pretty dang decent. So anyways, excited to see these guys come back and reprise their roles as Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. And let's see here. Next up, we've got Pixar. Pixar's coming to Disney Plus with a new car show. And if I'm not mistaken, Larry the Cable Guy, everyone's favorite character on their Mater, is coming back. And also, I think they got Owen Wilson to come back as Lightning McQueen. So pretty cool that they're kind of getting that star power. Outside of Disney Plus, I think, outside of Disney, most popular DreamWorks, let's say, movies, let's say they come out, and you got Jack Black as the voice of the Kung Fu Panda or something. Usually when they kind of have spin-off content, whether that's a show or shorts or something like that, they usually can't get the same guy because it's insanely expensive to book those people. But Disney's doing it right and getting the original voice talent. So excited to see what they do with that show. Next up, we've got Baymax, everyone's favorite white puffy dude from Big Hero 6, which I think is a very underrated movie, by the way, does not get enough attention. That is a really cool film, and I think they should totally run with that and do a lot of stuff with it. So I think the first thing is Baymax gets his own Disney Plus show coming out here in the next couple of years. So excited to see Mr. Baymax again. And finally, this brings us to our last announcement related to Disney Plus, and that is a new Ice Age movie is being developed by Disney. And you may be wondering, like, what the heck? Ice Age is not Disney, and I will say yes, it is. And let me tell you why. Disney, if you didn't know this, purchased 20th Century Fox, and with that came the Ice Age franchise. So super interested to see how Disney handles the Ice Age movies. So kind of interesting. I don't think there's a release date yet, but it looks like it's being developed. And looking forward to seeing what they do with it. Our final news item is actually some breaking news. It was really just announced just literally minutes before I started recording this week's episode, but it looks like Toontown is getting a major facelift here in the next year. So they're going to be closing Toontown March of 2022 for a renovation. And this renovation includes some new kind of activities and sections of Toontown. Again, the theming stays the same. It's still Toontown, but it's getting some new attractions. So let me read some stuff straight off of the Disney Parks blog. One of the new areas coming to Mickey's Toontown will be Centennial Park, the first space guests will see when they enter. This natural space will be anchored by 2 interactive play experiences. At the center of Centennial Park will be a fountain designed for play, which will also become a center icon for Mickey's Toontown. As its base, water tables will invite guests to play with the water and have a sensory experience. At night, the fountain will be brought to life in a unique spectacle. A nearby dreaming tree will be inspired by the tree a young Walt would daydream under in his hometown. Sculpted tree roots will provide an opportunity for children to play, crawl, and explore, and undulating topography will offer rolling hills and a place to sit and dream. Who wrote this? Good grief. In addition to reopening in 2023 with the new family-friendly and adventurous Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Mickey's Toontown will still be home to many beloved characters, including Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Goofy, Donald Duck, and more. So it looks like it'll be closed for around a year for all of these enhancements. So it seems, there's a lot of big words there and a lot of exciting, concept art. I think it's pretty minor. It looks like they're adding essentially a jungle gym. I know the fanciful words makes it sound like something else. So it looks like it's going to be a very highly themed jungle gym, and then a fountain which you can splash in. It looks like it's like let's say like hip height for adults, this fountain, and you can kind of like splash in it with your hands. I don't know. So it looks like hey, at least they're doing some enhancements. I'm excited to see that there's going to be some renovation happening in the parks. I'm a little surprised since money's been a little tight for the company, in recent years. So yeah, excited to see that there's some investment happening in the parks. So stay tuned for more info on that. All right, so this brings us to our main segment for this week's episode, and that is Disney's Merriest Nites. So just to refresh your memory, this is the special ticketed event for the holiday season, the first of its kind at Disneyland, the first after-hours event, for the holidays. And it takes place, I think there's only 5 or 6 dates through November and December, so very exclusive. It's sold out, so if you're interested but don't already have your tickets, I think you're out of luck this year, but I'm assuming since it's sold out and did so well, it will be back next year. So maybe this is a preview, and can kind of gauge your interest after hearing my thoughts. Now, no, we did not attend, but I don't think that excludes us from having opinions, only because thanks to the 200 plus Disney vloggers and their content on YouTube, you can pretty much experience most of this from your couch. Now, it's not as magical, that's for dang sure, but you can kind of see and experience a lot of the things they do, but via TV. So that's what I did. My wife and I sat and watched like 6 different videos just to kind of get a flavor and a feel for what the night looked like. And kind of share our thoughts. And I might kind of be a parrot and kind of copy what they said, because I think most people would have the same opinion, and we'll dive into as to why. But again, another reminder, this event was about $175 per person. That's for the first date, which was November 11th. And then the rest of the dates are all about $165 a person. So this is no cheap date. And I think that's why it comes with such high expectations, because it's a lot of money. So let's start with the positive. Let's start with the good things. And that is the freaking Muppets. Again, spoiler alert, if you're going or don't want to know what's there, just go ahead and skip forward by like 5 minutes. But I'm going to dive into the Muppets. They had a full-on like 15-minute-ish show starring the Muppets on Main Street. They used that, that double-decker bus that drives up and down the street. There was a straight-up Muppet show on Main Street, and I am so jealous for the people that were able to see this in person. Again, you can experience and get probably, 60-70% of the experience at home, but there's just something about being there for these nighttime shows that are so much fun. But it was hilarious. I love the Muppets. Anytime they're involved, I'm going to love it. And they were featured in person for the folks that attended this event, and I'm so jealous. But that already is a win in my book. Is if you're able to see a Muppet show at the parks, then it's a night, well spent. But yeah, that was that ends it with the positives. Honestly, I'm not trying to be negative, but that's pretty much the only thing that I'm kind of sad that I missed. The rest of the event was pretty, I'm gonna say lackluster. And again, I did not attend, but from what I saw and the opinions that these people shared on YouTube were kind of like, yeah, there's not that much else to do. Now, it's supposed to be like themed parties is what they called them all throughout the land. So there's a few exclusions, like Critter Country wasn't involved, Galaxy's Edge, and something else. But Fantasyland, Frontierland, Main Street, Adventureland, they all had their own separate kind of, different themed parties. And that included essentially photo opportunities and food. That is what Disney, I think that's their definition of a party. But again, if you're a giant picture person, if you really want to take advantage of exclusive food offerings, then hey, $175, go ahead. It's worth it for you. But for people that are looking for, entertainment and truly exclusive experiences, I don't know if it's worth the money, because one of the main kind of featured events for this party was the Christmas parade, and that is not exclusive to that event. You can see that on any other night, on a regular night, right? If you pay park admission, you can see that on a normal, not after hours party event. So kind of curious that was kind of a main draw, and a lot of people stood there. So I kind of feel bad that people all stood around watching that, kind of sucking away at the time they had available to watch something that's not exclusive to that night. So, hey, you know what? Again, they paid to be there. Their money. They can do whatever they want with it. But so that was interesting. Again, the unique photo opportunities they did have some rare characters there. They had like the whole Frozen character list were there. So like the the weird the redheaded guy, the Big Summer Blowout dude. He was there. Sven, the whole gang was out walking around, chatting it up with people. Scrooge McDuck and Marley, played by Goofy, were there, which is a rare photo op. But yeah, I mean, Donald had his own little snow castle thing. You can take a photo with him. But other than that, again, there was really nothing else. So yeah, and again, let me remind you, $175, and this was 4 hours long. You only have 4 hours to experience everything. That is so rushed. I think you'd know, if you rode rides during this thing, you had maybe 45 minutes to experience like the actual party itself, because rides themselves take a while to get through. So I am not seeing the value here. And I know Disney's on a value heavy resort because it's definitely a luxury kind of purchase and stuff. It's very expensive. So I'm not expecting like a huge return on my money, but $175 for 4 hours is pretty steep in my book. But yeah, I mean, again, I don't think you're missing out too much if you don't attend this event. It looks fun as all get out. I mean, if I had $300 burning a hole in my pocket, I'd go. But I don't have that problem, and I don't think many people do. So, if I were you, maybe give them a year to work these kinks out. It's the first time they're offering it. So, Disney, I think, hopefully takes people's opinions into account and may fidget maybe around with the timing. Maybe next year they offer another extra couple hours. I would imagine that is a kind of a big headache for them because this is Disneyland that's hosting this party, and closing that 2 hours earlier would be a problem. But they got to do something, I think, to offer more value. But who am I to say? I'm just a guy that goes, look, they sold out and charge what they charge, and I think everyone's happy. So I don't know. Maybe they won't offer more value for folks. But again, I think in my book, I think around $100 a person would be kind of more appropriate for what they offered. That's just my opinion. If you attended it in person, I may be way off and you say, I missed a ton of stuff that was offered, please let us know over on Instagram. But from what I'm seeing, I just don't know if it's worth that kind of price tag. You can catch about 60% of what they did on a regular park day, and I'm just not sure that 40% is worth that much money. So again, I don't want to end on a negative kind of thing. It's really cool they're offering holiday events, period. I would love to attend one. So I think next year may be a better time to go because, again, they would hopefully add some stuff, work out some kinks, and maybe have it all figured out. So again, if you're not attending, I don't think there's anything to worry about, nothing to be sad about. Go on YouTube and dedicate 45 minutes of watching videos, and I think you'll experience plenty for what that party has to offer. So that brings us to the end of our episode, guys. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Follow us on Instagram if you don't already. That's at Market House Podcast on the IG. Catch us there for stories and posts. And again, if you've got any opinions and you want to ask a question or whatever, feel free to send us a message on there and we will respond and chat it up. So again, thanks so much for spending time with us. Have a great week. We will see you next Monday.